Welcome to The Growth Show with me as your host, Joe Camerato. I am an entrepreneur who created my company, National Business Capital, from literally $0 out of my spare bedroom to over $2 billion in business loans secured for entrepreneurs nationwide. Since 2007, I have seen just about every type of business. I provide money and help entrepreneurs access capital to scale fast, but I also know that it's possible for you as you scale to replace yourself, to build systems, processes, and great teams of people that can live on without you so you can actually enjoy your life and your company can still grow. I will not only tell you the peaks and valleys of my story, but I will also bring on world-class entrepreneurs to tell their stories and share their lessons on their growth journeys. Welcome to The Growth Show. Welcome to The Growth Show. With me as your host, Joe Camerato. We're all about entrepreneurs growing and growing fast. And today we've got a great entrepreneur on the show, Sam Sells from Wild Mountain Capital. Thank you, Sam, for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. Joe, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, same to you. Just a little bit about Sam and just some really amazing bio here. Sam is a retired U.S. Air Force officer and combat veteran who founded Wild Mountain Capital in 2018 with his hero dad. Thank you for your service, Sam. That's just great. And Sam's traveled the globe with U.S. Air Force special operations as an international health specialist and saw poverty and lack of safe housing while leading complex rehab and development projects worldwide. Wow. This motivated Sam to start Wild Mountain Capital to transform neglected, unsafe, and mismanaged assets, not just in affordable housing, but into housing that is affordable. The Wild Mountain team has 60 plus years of commercial and residential real estate experience, over 75 projects individually. Since 2019, the team has syndicated 20 development rehab properties, creating equity growth nearly twice the initial investment in less than 2 years. Projects include mobile home communities, apartment complexes, and self-storage facilities. Really great stuff, Sam. Happy and excited to have you on the show today. So, I guess let's just talk about, how'd you get started, and how'd you start your company?
Yeah, had the 10 years or so, 10, 12 years doing that, traveling around the world, working with foreign militaries, foreign governments, helping them develop sustainable, lasting healthcare systems. And in that process, I learned, one, that government tries really hard, and there's a lot of really good people in the U.S. government. That's a very broad brush stroke, but that are trying really hard, but the incentives aren't necessarily aligned, right? And so when you align incentives down at the ground level where people benefit by improving their own lives, or they know a way that they can improve their lives, they're going to take that option every time. But if you're trying to tell them that you should use this thing because I like it better and it's better, and they don't believe you, then they don't really follow that. And these ideas just really resonated. And as we're wrapping up my career and wanting to go ahead and exit and move on, I spent 15 years or so flipping homes on the side, and knew that, I really liked real estate. And if you think about health outcomes and financial security outcomes, it really all comes back down to your home, where you grow up, where you live. And so we took that passion for improving health outcomes and said, to my dad, like, hey, we need to build ourselves a financial, just a huge financial reservoir and wellspring that delivers constant evergreen cash to us so that we can go and improve other people's lives. And let's find out a way to do that. And the best way to do it was in real estate. We understood that market. And so we went after it.
That's awesome. And, did you need to borrow money, raise money? How'd you do it exactly, to get started?
Well, I think I had $30,000 to my name. I'd saved up. And my dad in his retirement got $80,000. And with that $80,000 and my 30, we turned it into about 170 between borrowing from credit cards and refinancing a car I had paid off. And we bought 2 properties. After 6 months of owning those 2 properties, we went from investing $150,000 to clearing from the bank about $12,000 a month, $12,000 to $13,000 a month. And
That's
so
amazing.
we were hooked. And what we had done is we had bought two very distressed, ugly mobile home parks. One of them was really small. That one we got rented up. The other one, my dad spent 6 months living there, just changing and improving the property, and it went bananas as far as financial return went.
That's amazing. Just guessing by everything you're doing, I'm sure you made it a lot nicer, which I'm sure the people there really appreciated.
They really appreciate it. So when you implement governance programs where people can't leave trash everywhere anymore, get rid of that car. No, you can't, get in a fight on the door with your neighbor. These different things. It's amazing what happens in the community, and people really appreciate it. And even if their rents do go up because we create a lot of value there, they're willing, ready, happy to pay a little bit more to live in a cleaner and safer place. Period.
Makes sense. It's amazing when these things too, it's just kind of sitting there from prior ownership, and it was all right there, right?
Yeah.
And it's like just like the diamond in the rough type of theory, and it's awesome. So you do the right thing, you make it nicer, build a nicer community, and you get rewarded for it. And it's really it's a beautiful thing, and everyone's winning. I love those situations where everyone involved is winning and benefiting. So that's great.
Yeah. And really, it is that way because everyone involved is winning or benefiting. We do kick people out if they are unsafe, if they're, drug dealers, they're breaking the law, they can't be, good to people around them, then we do have to get rid of them. But
Yeah, you're building culture in your little communities. It's amazing.
it's amazing. It's really significant and palpable. But yeah.
Awesome. So for each of your deals, do you raise capital? Do you take on debt? And how do you kind of determine that factor of debt versus raising equity and not raising too much equity, not taking on too much debt?
Yeah. So because we buy really distressed properties, we try to leverage as much as possible. These properties are really under market value. So now we're focused on 150 plus unit apartment complexes. And the last two or three that we purchased, all of them were well over $1 million under the appraised value when the appraised value came back. So we're buying them at a discount. When you're coming in, and if you're getting like a 75% LTV or 75% loan to cost, and the ARV after 1 year is $5 million more, we're feeling in a pretty good debt position, right? So I don't feel over leveraged at all in my properties. We do raise money. We do syndicate a lot now. It's just one of the easiest ways to raise money.
Yeah.
But the other way that we raise money is we do work with institutional investors. So a large $1 billion investment firm will come and say, hey, Sam and co, we'll work with you guys. We'll write the equity check, present us the deal. So we'll give them a deal. And we, like our last deal we closed with an equity partner.
Awesome. So you didn't even have to have a bank involved?
We had a bank involved on the debt side, but
Okay.
we closed at 3.5% on a very distressed property. We had $2.2 million funded at close just for the rehab. And then our equity partner provided just about $5 million, and we put 500,000 of our own dollars in.
Wow. That's amazing. And what made the property distressed? Was it just, not taken care of, roof and structural side? Like what in this one, I'm just curious.
Yeah. So the owner was not a bad person. It just grew up with that old school mentality that you fix everything yourself. And if it's 180 unit apartment complex, that's way too much for one person to fix. And so he had it for 6 years. He bought it a little bit distressed. And, when we bought it, it had 6 active sewage leaks, leaking sewage water out into the parking lot. SWAT team was there the day we closed on the property.
Got it.
The accounts receivables was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was.
This is really distressed.
It was distressed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what
you gotta really be able to go in and you're really managing a lot of things, at once. Do you have a process for that? Like, where do you start, in these situations, for other
Yeah,
folks out there that might, be interested in distressed properties or just understanding how you do what you do?
yeah. The we've had a lot of experience doing this stuff, and so it's really a team sport. There's a lot of players because there's a lot of different things going on. So we made a property management company. They've got like 40 employees now because we need them to be skilled and about certain things. And they've got to be able to work with housing authorities because you got vouchers or Section 8. They have to be skilled with working with, women in crisis, Catholic relief services, you know, every different relief organization or nonprofit you can think of, Boys and Girls Club, all these different entities that we work with on a regular basis to help
Wow.
support our residents. We do all that. So now residents get like educational support, mental health support, rent support, and it's all free to us as the property owners. So our investors benefit from now. You got this really distressed property. Now you got this awesome community 6 months later or a year later that's got all the support structure in there. Your loss to lease, the turnover rate drops considerably. Um, Health outcomes are better. Educational outcomes are better. Um, and think about it this way. So we put in washer dryer in a unit and charge $75 a month. Somebody's going to say, you're jacking rents up. No, I'm jacking rents up. I'm adding a $75 a month thing because it cost me a bunch of money to put a washer dryer in there. Talking to a resident, the resident says, hey, I spend $150 a month downtown doing laundry, and I spend 6 or 7 hours each month downtown doing laundry. So now you're going to tell me you're only going to charge me $75 a month, so half as much money, and I get 6 or 7 hours back of my life?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
No
It's
brainer.
amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Is there anyone else out there doing, this? I mean, it seems like, I feel like a lot of people, you're not only like, there's people out there rehabbing and doing stuff, but also bringing in like all the resources. I just feel like no one really cares about that stuff. It's really amazing.
It's really amazing. I know other people do care about it, and I've talked to other people, and they find a lot of these people are making a lot of money. So when you invest in a syndication and you're buying this fancy Palm Beach apartment complex where everything's gorgeous and they're just going to go in and raise rents, or they're going to add new thermostats and raise rents by $200 a month or whatever. That's a totally different business plan, and it's so focused on the minute dollar.
Yeah.
Our focus is if we can change the community and create a ton of value, then the value is easily paid for. The property value explodes, and our money is being used in a much different way. So it's just the focus. A lot of people are doing good things out there. They're just not quite as focused as we are.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's like you're growing and so is the community. And, and I'm all about, growth and growing. So that's amazing. So, what have you learned in the process of, building your company? And, what was one of the biggest mistakes that you've made? Everyone always
One,
talks about the good stuff.
oh, I could talk about the bad stuff for days. So number one mistake I made in the beginning was not partnering or finding a good coach / mentor. And so the first year I bought 10 deals in the first year. 8 of those were syndications. All right. Where we raised private investor dollars. Had I known better, we would have done much bigger deals, and we would have grown very fast, but more sustainably, and had a lot heavier cash flow. So that was one of the biggest mistakes I made, was just not getting a mentor in the beginning. And since then, because I didn't have a mentor, the mistakes I've made have cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not that I'm going to go to jail for, but it's like not backing out of a deal when I should have, waiting to the last minute to back out until we're like, this deal does not work. The people are terrible, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't fit our mission. And then backing out and losing earnest money. Some of the other things that we could have easily avoided had we had a good mentor there to say, Sam, what are you doing? That's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like a good mentor, and it just fast forwards time and having to
Yeah.
go through the process and learn on your own. And it's interesting too. I think a lot of entrepreneurs really enjoy helping other entrepreneurs, and if you really seek, you will find. And there's a lot of people out there that have experience in whatever it is that you're doing. And I find, especially the more successful someone is, usually the more they want to help other people. And some people are just too stubborn, have too big of an ego to ask for help. But I've never have never have been afraid to ask for help, and it's really helped me fast forward so much. And especially in the beginning, there was some really cool entrepreneurs that were like helping me for no reason. I'm like, why are you helping me?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, someone helped me once, and that helped me be successful. And one day, you'll figure all this shit out, and you'll be successful too, and you'll help people. And
Yeah.
and then here you are, years later. So no, it's really great, and I wish more people would take advantage of that, so you just can avoid mistakes that a lot of others have made.
Absolutely. If I could turn the wheel back, I would do that. And we've done well, but we've done even better,
Yeah,
much better.
100%. Well, you only learn and grow from those mistakes too. So
Mhm.
sometimes they're necessary because it helps you avoid the real bigger ones later on in life. And you don't realize the little one that happened now is helping you avoid something big in the future. So
Absolutely.
yeah, how do you grow fast, or how have you grown fast? So I'm all about growing fast. It's my thing, and I'm all about helping others grow fast. But for our viewers and everyone, I'm sure they'd love to hear. Um, have you done that in your company and biz?
Yeah. So I think we grew pretty fast. So we did 10 deals the first year for a syndicator. That's crazy. Most folks do maybe a couple deals a year, and then they get up to 5 or 8 maybe in a year when they're worth $200 million. We did 1 year, we grew 10. The next year we did one. The year after that, we did another 10. And it was, just all out getting after it. Right. And so what I do now is, to grow fast, you need to focus on those things that make money and that will help you to grow sustainably. Um, and you can't waste time on learning things that you don't need to learn. So
Mm.
when I talk to other new syndicators and they're going to a coaching course and they're listening to how they need to go and talk to a lender, and my first question is, why are you learning that? That's
If you're syndicating, you don't need to talk to the lender.
Yeah, let your partner do that.
Yeah, yeah,
You just need to learn how to raise money. That's the lifeblood of the company. If you can't raise money, then you need to find somebody who can and get partners with them. But no lender is going to talk to you about a $20 million deal when your net worth is $550,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
useless
100%.
skill, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So spend your time learning how to raise money, spend your time forming your business, getting your corporation or incorporated or whatever set up correctly. Spend your time educating yourself and getting on the right trajectory. And then say, okay, I'm going to learn about that when I'm at this stage and ready to move from just raising capital to being a sponsor operator.
Makes sense. Makes great sense. And what year did you get started, Sam?
Formed the company in 2018. First 10 acquisitions were in 2019.
Wow. Talk about timing. What wild timing. And so I mean, and things are rocking, moving along. It's already 4 years. What was it? What's been a tipping point for you so far in your journey on growing your biz?
Tipping point was probably last year when we moved from doing small deals to doing a big deal. We did a 245 unit apartment complex, and we weren't quite ready for that. But because we had set up so many great relationships with good people, that in the end, when the deal got really haywire, I was able to pull some levers, and those relationships came forward, and we were able to close this big old deal. And I learned a ton from that. I use that a lot. Those experiences there to help me inform other people on how to do a deal, how not to do a deal, big deals. And then at the second time, since then, we've done other big deals that were successful and much smoother than that first really rocky one.
That's great. And I feel like, when you really think about it, I mean, there's definitely things that you learn and set you up and you're ready. But a lot of times I found in business, like, you're never really ready. You just kind of got to dive in and you figure it out. And I think having those relationships are super important, and knowing when to tap in the right relationships to figure things out, coach you through it, give advice, whatever it might be, share an experience. But if you wait till you're 100% ready and everything, I feel like you'll never do anything. So
Never do anything. Yeah. And it was nice because I had a friend in my ear saying, Sam, you got to get bigger, man. Got to get bigger. Let's do something bigger. Let's do something bigger. Let's do something bigger. And so we took a leap and it worked out. It was an ugly process, but it worked out.
yeah, well, the good stuff, the good deals, the big deals, right? They're never easy, and it kind of makes sense. The bigger deals too. There's more upside. In appreciation equity that you'll have in just the little deals. And you have to do a lot of little deals to get that same type of swing. And a lot of times too, there might have been a little bit more work, but in the grand scheme of things, sometimes the work is pretty similar. So
Yeah.
you might as well go for the bigger, maybe a little bit more quality, or just more units, or whatever. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. And bigger deals, at the end of the day, closing a deal is almost identical to closing a small deal to a big deal. It is easier than buying your own single family house. I will say that over all day long. Apartment complexes are just easier. The bigger they are, the more funds there are there to pay for other people to do things, which makes it easier.
Makes sense. That's actually a really good point. That makes a ton of sense, actually. Good stuff. And so why is social impact so important to you? Did something happen? I'm just kind of curious where that comes from.
So 2011, I'm all over northern Afghanistan, working with all these Afghan medics for the border patrol, the national police. And there's a chief doc who's really not supporting all these 9 or 10 regions at all. He's like barely supporting them. And 6 years of people have been going there and trying to get him to do stuff for his folks. Sitting in there one day, it just dawned on me that I needed to line his incentives. And so I said, look, Doc, if you provide more goods to your folks, then there's more equipment underneath you, right? He goes, yeah. So you have a lot more equipment, and that equipment is worth a lot of money, correct? He's like, yeah. I said, and if you support your folks and you get them staffed, the hospitals and clinics staffed correctly, how many more people is that? And he did the math. It's like, oh, it's an extra 200 people. Okay. So is a person of your rank, is that right? Or should you be an extra rank up? And he's like, oh, if I have that many people underneath me and I have that much equipment, then I need to be a higher rank and make more money. And he's like, The very next day, we called out to one of the, the border clinics, like, hey, how's it going? Oh, Dr. So-so called and he's getting us this equipment and, this staff's coming and we're getting this training, and night and day, things changed, right? When you can align incentives and show people that you can make money doing good and supporting other people, the world changes, right? The world changes. Their world out there changed. And so since then, I've been trying to implement that wherever I go, because you get these Americans that would come to sub-Saharan Africa and buy this $50,000 medical bed chair thing for the hospital in Africa, and in Chad, let's say in N'Djamena, and the people there are looking at this thing going like, what is this? And as soon as the Americans leave, they open up a storage closet and they roll that thing in there and close it.
Oh my God.
And go back to using cots. And you're just like, stupid Americans. There's a book about that. Don't be the stupid American. Align incentives, show them how they can improve their own lives and benefit from it. And so impact is so important to me because we want to show the world, or America at least, that you can make money helping other people's lives get better. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a nonprofit. It doesn't have to be a charity. Make money helping other people. That's, you don't know what your money goes to when you invest in the stock market. You have no idea, right? It just goes.
Yeah, and you talk about this clean money. What does that mean? To you.
So think about clean energy. It's you're concerned about where the energy was produced, how it's produced, the lasting impact on the environment. When you think about clean eating, you're thinking about what kind of food am I taking into my body? Where was that food source? What kind of chemicals are in that food? Is the food good and wholesome? And so clean money is this concept that where are our investment dollars going? Did I invest in Bitcoin that was mined by drug cartels in Mexico and I just helped them fund their next hit? Right. And we don't think about this when we buy Bitcoin or whatever. We're just thinking, I'm going to try to make some money. Right. What kind of return am I going to get on my dollars? Now, if we just say, look, let's think about the downstream effects of our investments. Clean money is all about what are the downstream effects? What is the future effect of our investment dollars? Just like clean energy is what is the future effect of our energy consumption? And so we say you can invest in a clean way and you should.
Makes sense. I've had this other question, and you really have answered it. And I think a lot of people will probably, can you really make impact and do good and make money? And speaking to you, just right now, I'd say the answer is absolutely yes. But how would you answer that, Sam?
100% yes. Our projects are like a development project in the sense that when we come in, it's ugly. It's not making any money. You're just going to have to be patient. It's going to take us about a year to get this thing turned around unless it's really, really bad. And then it may take us a year and a half to get that thing turned around. But we have our own construction crews that are keeping our costs low. We have our own property management companies keeping our costs low and working with all these different nonprofits and everything else. It's really got to be this holistic approach to the property, the community, as investors. So our investors are passive. That's one of the beautiful things about syndication. And so the active side is on us, and it is hard work. But the returns, the growth in equity is fantastic. We bought a $15 million property last year. We renovated 101 units. It's now worth 19 million.
Wow.
10, 11 months later. So we just made $5 million. And we put 80 something people in vouchers in a home.
I mean, what are the comments and feedback that you're getting from, people in the communities that you're, doing these projects in?
We have some footage that's coming out here soon, where we just sat down with folks and interviewed them, and it's incredible. Like the personal changes in their lives. Hey, I've always heard owners always come in and buy the property. They always promise stuff. They don't do anything, and they raise the rents. You guys actually came in, you did a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah, rents went up, but now I'm getting a lot of stuff. I can swim in a swimming pool that was been down for 6 years, full of slug and slime. Now there's laundry in my unit. Now there's electronic locks that lock, and I feel more safe. And there's no more shootings at the property. That was one of the comments.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's crazy. And there's I think an effect that happens. I think there was a book called a book Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. I don't know if you've ever read it.
yeah,
But it's basically it talks about the concept of, Mayor Giuliani cleaning up the city. And just, if you go to a place that is, got rough, like one thing they used to do, and this was like one of the things he implemented, clean up the subways because they were just horrible, and crime. And one of the biggest things was cleaning up all the trash, getting more cops down there.
yeah.
And more importantly, people were spray painting the trains constantly. So he implemented, like, as soon as a train was spray painted that day, it had to be taken off the line and freshly painted, and couldn't go back out there because people would spray paint them. Then, it would be like, they would get to like, talk about it, in their community. And it was like kind of like, they're like their prize. Look at the train go. I just spray painted this thing. And when they realized that they were spending all this time spray painting and then it was cleaned up, that stopped. And then when people were going in the subway and there was no more trash and there was police and it was safe, everyone started treating things nicer. And so I would think that the effect that you have where you're cleaning these things up and doing all these things, people are probably starting to treat where they live a lot nicer because it looks nice, it's clean, you're doing all this great stuff. And where, you got a pool that's not done, it's got green. I saw, a post on your social media. It was disgusting. And I can only imagine if you're living somewhere where everything's like that, then, you might take this, whatever, that cup and just throw it on the floor, whatever it is, versus go, maybe, you throw that trash in the garbage or pick something up or whatever, so there's got to be an amazing ripple effect that's happening for the positive.
It's amazing. So like, just this last one we bought, day we closed, a SWAT team. No kidding. My brother calls me. He's like,
wow,
Sam, the SWAT team's here. I was like, on the day we closed it. Yeah.
It's like a nice gift.
Nice gift. Thank you.
It's a closing gift.
There was 6 active sewage leaks. The seller never fixed them.
Okay? Oh my God.
The property stank bad. There was an active drug deal going on when we, one of the week before we closed, driving out there. It's like people in lookouts, whistling, guys, going behind their cars, doing their stuff. There were people stealing railroad ties out of the garden area that they had when we were there.
Wow.
Before we closed. I went there last week. Trash that had been, used to be trash in all over the place. No trash. None.
It's amazing.
No drug deals going on. I don't know when, no shootings. The leasing office was busy. People were coming, trying to rent units. Our staff were super happy. Everybody was talking about the pools, the laundromat, or not the laundromat, the laundry machines in their units. We have new covers going up for covered parking. And when it's 106 degrees in Dallas, you want covered parking.
Yeah, right? It's a big deal. Yeah,
it's a big deal, right?
Yeah,
it's huge. There was just excitement. You could feel it. And, every time I'd been there before, it was just like, just a beat down.
Wow. That's amazing, man. It's really good stuff. What advice would you give to, folks looking to raise money and get into real estate?
Number one, find a good partner. Like somebody like us. There's lots of others out there who are willing to work with new folks. Find a good coach, learn how to raise money legally, ethically, sustainably. There's principles you need to follow to do so, and then go for it.
Yeah, just rip off the Band-Aid and go, right?
Yeah.
You'll never fully know it all. Just get started.
Just do it.
Good stuff, man. So, what would you like your legacy to be? We talked about this in the beginning a little bit, but, you got some really great stuff happening here.
There are millions of people living in substandard, subpar living throughout America. My legacy, if I could do anything, even if I go broke and bankrupt, if I could inspire others to go out and change people's lives, make a difference, invest with a socially conscious mind, that matters, and that will continue to last, and that'll matter forever. Really good stuff.
Well, I really appreciate everything that you're doing. It really is amazing. And, this is the Grow Show, and we're all about growing, and you're growing communities, and you're helping other people grow, your syndicate partners. And, and I love, you've got 3 different, groups of people in your process that are winning. And more importantly, you're making these communities better, safer. It really is amazing. And it's really cool. And, would love to hear more of these stories, so I hope you keep doing what you're doing. I hope you keep leveling up. I hope you keep growing yourself, because what's amazing, Sam, is the more you grow, the more good you're doing, so it really is awesome. Lot of respect. Really appreciate hearing this story. Everyone listening here, how can they learn more about you, your company, and and I guess potentially maybe even get involved and possibly invest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So go to our website, wildmountaincapital.com. It's in the midst of getting updated and changed. We've had this problem where we haven't shared all these incredible stories of people going from homelessness to having a place, to having a job, and being able to pay for their family and getting off Section 8 and all these things. We're starting to share some of those stories. Follow me on Instagram. It's about a week old, so I apologize, but I'm trying to post now every day.
You've been busy working. It's all good.
Too busy working. I'm trying to step out of the operations a little bit and share the message so that people can see, because this matters. LinkedIn, I'm on there, Samuel Sells. On Instagram, I'm at Clean Money Sam. You can follow me on, you can reach out to me on Facebook, starting to post stuff there as well. Twitter, just started posting stuff there as well.
Good stuff. Sam Sells. And I like Clean Money Sam, right? Was that what it was?
Yeah, Clean Money Sam.
Clean Money Sam. Good stuff. Well, definitely check out Clean Money Sam. Make sure you follow him. Check out what he's got going on. Really good stuff, Sam. Thanks for coming on the Grow Show today. Keep doing everything that you're doing, and more importantly, keep growing.
Thank you so much, Joe. Really appreciate it. Love your show. It's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate everything that you're doing. Great stuff. Thanks again, Sam.
All right.